Willie D Live.
What's up, family? Following the release of sealed court documents and photographs related to the Jeffrey Epstein case, Chris Tucker's comments from a 2021 interview has resurfaced. And everybody got an opinion about it. Yeah, fam, some people are really going in hard on Chris. Others are saying, nah, man, I don't believe Chris had anything to do with that. And Chris, for his part, he said, look, man, I don't have any knowledge of Jeffrey Epstein's personal life. I didn't even know that it was his plane that we was boarding. I knew it was a private plane, but I didn't know it was his plane. He also defended himself in the photographs that were discovered on Epstein's or in Epstein's files. There's photographs of him and Bill Clinton, him and Ghislaine Maxwell, and some other people, right? That's the tricky thing about being a celebrity, right? You take pictures with a lot of people. Oftentimes, people you never even met, people that you don't know. People want to take pictures with you. Sometimes you want to take pictures with people and you don't know these people. You don't know that this guy that just walked up to you and asked for a picture just committed a double homicide. You have no idea, in most cases, you have no idea of who you're dealing with. I'm going to give Chris the benefit of doubt because not everyone you take a picture with, you know personally. You may know of a person's face, you may have heard their name, but you may not know how that person rock personally. Hell, and don't get me started on random people, like people you don't know at all asking for a picture. You don't know the guy that just walked up to you and said, hey man, let me get a picture right quick. Just committed a double homicide or just robbed a bank. You have no idea. People just want to take pictures, so you take a picture. You know, you be nice, right? Back in the gap, this dude walks up to me. I'm in the club, having a good time, minding my own business. Dude walks up and he goes, say, Willie D, say, man, when you gonna go visit my nephew? I said, who is your nephew? And he got offended, like, man, such and such, you know, man, don't you got a baby with my sister, such and such? And he said, and I was like, man, I ain't got no kids. What you talking about? He said, she got a picture of you and her on the mantle at my mama's house. I say, man, you know how many pictures that I take with women every week? And he just kind of froze up a little bit like he want to do something. I thought I might have to two-piece him, right? Because he was like he really wanted to take off on me or something. And so for like the next, I think 3 years, I just stopped cold turkey taking pictures with women that I didn't know. I just wouldn't take them, you know, because I didn't want to give anybody a narrative. And one day I caught my snap and I realized that people are going to create a narrative anyway. People are going to lie no matter what. And I stopped, behaving that way. And I just started living my life again, man. I remember I would stop dancing in the club and stuff with women, because I didn't want somebody to try to create a narrative. And I was just like, man, I just catch myself. I'm not living my life for these clowns, man. Let me get on this dance floor and cut up. I'm somebody, get on here and do my thing, man, because I'm a dancing machine, man. They try to stop me from getting down, getting on the floor, man. I do this, man, Yeah. So I got back to being me, man, and it felt real good. So, and that's a little side note right there for y'all, man. Yeah, man, live your life. Don't be worried about what everybody else is thinking or whatever. But you do have to be cautious. If you know that somebody ain't right, then take the proper precautions. I'm willing to give Chris Tucker the benefit of doubt that he didn't know but it was not right. Now, that does not excuse that plane. Lolita was the name of the plane. So if I see a plane with the word Lolita on it, I'm thinking, I gotta ask some questions. Say, man, hold on, what we doing? I thought it was a humanitarian trip to Africa. What is this? Because that's what Chris said it was. He said they were going to Africa. It was a humanitarian trip to Africa. So that's why he was on the plane. But if I see Lolita on a plane, then, unless I'm just green about something like that, but, most people I think have heard of the story of Lolita. Lolita was a novel written by Russian and American novelist Vladimir Nabokov. He wrote about this French literature professor who had a strange obsession with this 12-year-old girl named Dolores Hayes, who he referred to as Lolita, the Spanish diminutive for Dolores. So since that novel, they have written films and plays and all kinds of things around this character, Lolita. So it's out there. It's out there big time. So most people who are in the arts or who are in literature, they have heard about this because it's a very, very popular novel. And the crazy thing about it also is that this guy, they didn't have some type of so-called love affair or whatever. No, he essayed this girl. He did a bad. It's crazy how popular that damn book became. That's crazy. Anyway, fam, you see that name on something, most people are gonna know, they're gonna have an idea of what that means, right? But Chris said, he just hopped on the plane or whatever. Maybe if you see something like that, maybe you just say to yourself, man, ain't no way maybe that's the furthest thing from your mind if you're hopping on a plane with the president, the former president of the United States of America, right? This trip he took was in 2002. So Bush was let me go backwards. Barack was 2008, I believe. He was 2008, yeah. And then Bush was 2004. So Clinton would have been president, yeah. Because Bush was one term. Yeah, I think Bush was one term. I'm almost certain Bush was one term. Yeah. So that's one term. Wow. Anyway, fam, I tend to believe Chris Tucker. I think he's being on the up and up. Because if Chris Tucker had been guilty of something, you better believe they would out him. He would be all over the place. And there has never been any accusations of wrongdoing coming from Chris Tucker. Again, if it had been something out there on Chris Tucker, it definitely would have surfaced by now. And they would definitely be putting him on blast right now. And they definitely be trying to prosecute him right now. Because these Republicans are trying to get anybody affiliated with Democrats. Anybody on that left side, they trying to bring them down. So if they get anything that's incriminating against any of those guys, it's a wrap. Oh, it's a wrap for sure. So Chris said that he wasn't involved. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I tend to believe him. He cited lack of knowledge. He emphasized that he was not aware of, any type of, what would they call that? Nefarious acts, right? He emphasized that. And he denied, further association with Jeffrey Epstein. Like, look, I don't know the dude. I don't know. People do stuff in their personal life. That's them, whatever. I don't know. So every day, all of us actually interact with people that we don't know what's going on in their personal life. If you work with somebody, especially if you work in corporate America, whereas like you might be in a department with dozens and dozens of people or hundreds of people, or perhaps thousands of people. You don't know everybody's lifestyle that you are, in close proximity to. You go to the club, there's certain people that you might see in the club. You don't really know their name, but you know their face, and you, what up? You're out somewhere, you with your friends, y'all about to take a picture, and somebody else want to jump in, and you don't really know these people, but they're in the picture too. You take the picture. Next thing you know, they find out that the dude's standing right next to you was a serial killer. And now you got some explaining to do. So that's that, fam. But what say you? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.